We are obviously concerned and want to wish Zion a speedy recovery. The quality and performance of our products are of utmost importance. While this is an isolated occurrence, we are working to identify the issue.
So anytime you have the biggest college basketball game with the biggest player in front of former President Barack Obama, and something like this happens with the world watching, it's going to affect you not only from a PR standpoint, but from a stock standpoint.
The most talked about college basketball player this year just blew his shoe out in a game where tickets sold for as much as the Super Bowl. You can't make this up. Geez, Nike, tough scene.
Nike will recover from this. Zion Williamson will recover from this. Duke will recover from this. This is a little blip on a bigger scale for Zion and for Nike.
Let's get more on this costly blunder with Richard Hay, who joins us from London. He's Managing Director at consultant company Brand Finance. Good to have you back with us, Richard. So $1 billion wiped off Nike's market cap. How big of a blow is this for the sportswear giant?
Well, I think this is somewhat of a storm in a teacup, if I'm totally honest. Reputational scandals like this are quickly forgotten when you've got a very strong brand like Nike. Yes, 1.5 billion is a large amount, but I think that there are ways that they can mitigate it to sort of minimize the risk going forwards.
Okay, so it's not the first time that this has happened to Nike shoes during basketball games. So why did this incident in particular gain so much attention?
Well, I think it's, as the gentleman was just saying before, when you've got the eyes of the world watching a very prestigious basketball game with one of the next big things coming through, and something like this then happens, and he then gets injured, that casts a lot of questions and raises a lot of concern, because ultimately, if he is, as they say, the next LeBron James, then seeing him wiped out by faulty footwear is probably very damaging for a company that has made its mark as one of the most reliable athletic gear and trustworthy pieces of equipment over the last 100 years.
Yes, and it is quite interesting though, isn't it? Because the shoes apparently retail for more than $300, and for them to be splitting like that after just a minute of play, it is a bit of a concern. I mean, how companies like Under Armour obviously have seized on this opportunity, but how big of a worry is it in terms of its reflection on Nike's products?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some commentary that technically the shoe that he was wearing wasn't appropriate for his size and weight and what he was using it for. So potentially it's just too nuanced a piece of shoe technology. And so something that Nike could do is perhaps partner with him and make a show of saying, right, well, let's engineer something that will work for you, and show their technical prowess in creating solutions and working with athletes to get the best performance and best results.
As you say, in the scheme of things, you know, it's not the biggest scandal that a company can suffer. There's no racism or sexism involved or anything like that. But what does Nike need to do now in order to, I guess, restore confidence in its basketball footwear?
I think it needs to apologize. It needs to wait a moment and pause. And then I think it would be wise for them to be proactive in showing that they're trying to do something to solve the problem, whether it's working with Zion, whether it's improving their general quality of their footwear, any or all of the above. But they definitely should be seen to be proactive and not trying to hide from the inevitable backlash that they will probably get from this.
So if you say this incident was a storm in a teacup, why then did we see such a sharp sell-off in its shares? $1 billion worth is nothing to sneeze at. Why did that happen?
When you in the world of brand finance, we often see valuable brands like this having reputational scandals. And often there's a knee-jerk reaction to say, oh, something bad's happened. Consumers are going to react very negatively to that. And you see a sharp blip in the share price. Ultimately, in the long run, strong brands are very resilient. That's one of the things that a brand provides to a company, is that resilience and risk mitigation. So ultimately, I see that 1 billion being made back relatively quickly. And right now, I think it's just various analysts running a little bit scared. I don't think that this is going to damage them in the long run, particularly. I think there are far bigger scandals that could potentially harm them, but they've weathered those storms successfully in the past, and they've come out stronger.
So if you were in Nike's shoes, so to speak, I mean, would you turn this into a bit of a marketing opportunity with Zion, perhaps, you know, using this as an excuse to collaborate with him?
Absolutely. I mean, they've done it with LeBron James, with the Jumpman brand. I think they'd have to do it quite carefully. I don't think that they would want to make it too overt that they're being cynical in what they've done. They need to be careful and be honest with the way that they're approaching it. But I definitely think that this is a potential marketing opportunity for both Zion and Nike to build their brands going forwards.
Okay, Richard Haigh in London, thank you for your thoughts as always.